Man, it's been a while since I've been up here. Feels good. How y'all feeling today? All right. Don't forget to vote for Dan. That was amazing, Dan. You had us going. I didn't know I was a blue. That's really cool. I like that. So I have a question for y'all just to get started today. How many of y'all have heard of the Ironman? Now, I don't mean Tony Stark from the Marvel Universe, Iron Man. Okay, good. We've got a couple people. How many people know what the Iron Man is? Exactly. Specifics. Couple specifics, great. Okay, one more question. Who here knows somebody who is an Ironman, who has completed an Ironman successfully? All right, I love this. Okay, great. Okay, end of speech. So today I want to tell you, for those of you that don't know, what's an Ironman and my story with the Ironman. So it started with a dream, and this is how the dream was born, right? It was early, Thursday mornings, bright and early, about 8 a.m., and I was hanging out after a regular meeting talking to Arturo Flores, who was our then current president. And I was talking to Art about pushing past limiting beliefs, going to places that are hard to go to, and pushing yourself so you can get a little uncomfortable and so you can grow. And so Art brought up this book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I'm sure a couple of you here have probably read that book. It's an amazing book. I recommend it. And then Art told me about this thing called the Ironman. He just kind of was like, oh yeah, there's this one thing called the Ironman. It's kind of cool. And then he tried to keep going, but I stopped him and I asked him, hold on. Let's back up a little bit. Tell me what this Ironman thing is, man. I want to know about it. And he told me the Ironman is one of the toughest endurance triathlons in the world, right? And only 0.005 of the people in the world's populations have completed it. And I looked at Art like, who the heck are these crazy people that would ever do an Ironman? Like who would do that? That seems impossible. Like, no way. Nobody can ever do that. I looked at him like he's a crazy person. And then, little did I know though, that would become my dream. That would become my dream. So fast forward about 2 months, and I'm practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in town, and I'm talking to my buddy Colin. Now, up until this point, I had only ran about 7 or 8 miles. And I walked up to Colin one day and I said, bro, I want to run a half marathon one day. I would love to do this thing, but I could never do that. That's impossible for me. I could never ever push myself to run a half marathon. There's no way. There's just no way, man. Colin asked me, hey man, how long have you ran up until this point? I told him about 7 or 8 miles, maybe 9. And then Colin told me, I bet you could run a full marathon tomorrow. And I was like, dude, no, there's no way. Like, I could never run a half marathon. Now you're telling me I could run a marathon? No. And then 2 months later, me and Colin were starting at the start line at the Rock and Roll Marathon, bright and early, 7 a.m. And so I finished my first half marathon that day, and I ran 2 miles past the finish line because of the feeling of accomplishment that I had. I was just like, oh, that's the finish line, and I just kept going. And it felt amazing, man. There's no place like going where you've never been and pushing through it and getting a little shaky and pushing through that thing and making it on the inside a new man. Next thing you know, I ran a full marathon. Now, what did that take just to get to a full marathon? It took me, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter if I'm feeling sad, happy, energetic, low energy, anxious, nervous, whatever. It means going outside and taking the action and just going for a run, doing something. And then before you know it, I had ran a couple of marathons, and then one day Colin said, hey, you want to run a 50K trail run? Okay, no, that sounds impossible. I could never do that. Wrong. There we are. 7 a.m. early morning at a ranch in the middle of nowhere, running a 50K trail run. And I got anyway. It's crazy how fast that happened. So now, after I had ran 3 50K trail runs, I did a crazy thing. I went home one night, and then I went and I purchased 3 races, all in one night. I purchased a 100K trail run for January of this year, and then I bought a 50K trail run for April 4th, and then a full Ironman race for April 18th, right? And then I kit purchase, and I went, oh my God. What the hell did I just do, man? Why did I just do that? This is a terrible idea. And then for the next week, I would go up to the mirror, I would wake up in the morning, I would look in the mirror, and I would be like, dude, what did you just do? You could never run 100K, man. Like, who are you to think you could run 100K? Who are you to think you could run a full Ironman? Like, you don't have what it takes. Like, you might have to get a refund. Yeah. Okay, so think about that. And so I battled my demons for the next week, man. I would look in the mirror and battle this thing and just go, dude, there's no way. I could never freaking go after this. This is insane. Like 100K, who runs 100K? Who does an Ironman? I'm gonna die. But after that, after the first week, I had enough, man. I just decided I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna give it all I got. And I'm just gonna try it. No matter what the result, no matter what happens, I'm just gonna go and give it all I got, right? I don't care if I fail. I don't care. I'm just gonna do it. So then I started training again in that same fashion, pushing through, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter how emotional I am, no matter what's going on through my life, if I'm tired, if I have time, if I don't have time, I'm just going to do a run, going to do one of those runs. So I started training by doing 100K weeks, so I would accumulate 100K of running, so about 65 miles every week, and I would do that for about a couple of months. And then January 8th came this year. I showed up to the start line in Bandera, Texas. My dad showed up from Bulgaria. Love you, Dad. He showed up to support me, and I ended up finishing the 100K trail run in 21 hours, which was, I got done, I started at 7 in the morning and got done at 4 in the morning, 21 hours. And with that is the most insane feeling of growth, of confidence, of self-confidence that I could ever have gotten. And so what's the next thing? The Ironman. So I started doing full Ironmans every week. So every week I would do a 2.4 mile swim or more. I would do a 112 mile bike ride, and then I would do a marathon on the same week. I did that for a whole month, and then I did a couple of half Ironmans on my own. And then a crazy thing happened. Last week I showed up to the start line at the full Ironman in Houston, Texas. And I had my crew show up. Lauren was one of them. And we had an amazing turn of events. Everything was perfect, man. I had people praying for me for clouds, so it wouldn't be too hot. It worked. We had clouds, and it wasn't the hottest freaking time like it usually is. My equipment performed flawlessly. My swim, I'm just gonna walk you through what that looked like. I started the swim, I jumped in the water, and there was thousands of people around me trying to hit me. I was about to get in a fight in the water. I didn't want to, so we didn't get in a fight. So I just remained calm, and I just kept swimming and kept swimming. That was the best swim I've ever had. The best swim I've ever had. I got the swim done in an hour and 40 minutes, and then jumped on the bike, and they told me it was gonna be flat. They lied. It was not flat. There was a lot of hills out there, and I did 7 hours on the bike with like 8 Cliff Bars, 10 energy gels, and like 5 salt pills with 10 gallons, not 10 gallons, but 2 gallons of water. But I got it done, 7 hours. Then, transition, jumped on for the run, and I got the run done in 5.5 hours. The last 4 miles of that run were absolutely excruciating. They were tough. I thought I couldn't finish, honestly. So I just slowed down a little bit. I would run, and I would slow down and walk. And I ended up finishing the whole Ironman in 15 hours. Thank you. So this whole thing, I'm here to tell you today, like, do you have an impossible dream? Do you have something that you probably look at and you think, there's no way I could ever do that. This is impossible. Like, I have this dream, it's there, but no, I couldn't do it. It's impossible. You know what the most amazing thing for me was? How fast my body became resilient, how fast my mind became sharp, and how quickly my spirit started the path that God laid out before me. Absolutely incredible. And if you have one of those dreams, I urge you to freaking go after it, because I know you can do it. Thank you, guys.